require you pressing.
Hello, everyone. Testing, testing. Hi, everybody. Welcome to GPTuesdays. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to GPTuesdays. We'll go ahead and get started in a couple minutes. We're about ready to get started. Everybody, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Well, everybody, please take a seat, and really appreciate all of you coming. Wow, look at this, full house. And I just want to say, welcome to GP Tuesdays for a great, great evening. Today we have very special guests. We have an incredible AI community demo day. This is one of our, something that we do pretty much almost once a month, every once in a while. We like to bring together the community to just show what people are working on so that we can all learn what we're interested in, learn what we are focused on, and just have a really great time. So I wanted to share a little bit about what is GP Tuesdays. GP Tuesdays is an AI community, a weekly event where we bring together AI engineers, business professionals, enthusiasts, and now even students, so that we can all stay ahead of the AI wave and grow and learn together. We do this here every week. We don't only just do our Tuesday events now, we're also every Thursday online, as well as we provide workshops on Saturdays to upskill and retrain business professionals, engineers, you name it. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and give a special shout out to Miami-Dade College, our sponsor for the evening, for our venue. Give it up. And with that, Jose has a few words.
Yeah. Hi all, welcome to Miami-Dade College. Happy to have you here. Just wanted to make a couple of quick announcements of other events that are happening here. So next week on the 30th, we have Google speakers coming here in the evening at this time. So if anybody interested in working at Google or understanding how Google here in Miami works, we've got a few people from Google coming here. And on December 14th, which is a Saturday, we're going to have a Dev Fest, also in conjunction with the Google team here. So if you're interested in participating in a Dev Fest, see you here on December 14th. And enjoy.
I'd like to give one more shout out to another wonderful sponsor, Genius, with Felix over here. He was very grateful enough to allow us to provide us actually a software in order to make our conference setup much, much better. So now, if we want to ask questions, we can go ahead and provide it into the software. So if you want to open up your Luma, you can go to GPTuesday, so GPTues.day online, and you can just enter in your name and enter in a code. So if you want to go ahead and do that, we can go ahead and get started with that. Just enter in AM69D. Yeah, maybe we should put that on the screen somewhere. So,
wait, just write it.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
Old school. What is it?
It's also on. Here we go. Can you read that? Okay, great. AM69D at GPTues.day. And you can go ahead and just put in your name there, ask any questions, and we'll go ahead and ask those questions for you as we get started so that we can have a very fluid event. So without further ado, I want to introduce Alex Comerford. He is a wonderful AI engineer. Right now, he's a machine learning engineer at NEAR.AI, an incredible company, looking to build AGI, if that's right? So they're an incredible company, NEAR Protocol, really great company. And Alex has been with us since day one of GP Tuesdays, since day one, giving incredible talks and really knows his stuff when it comes to deep tech. So without further ado, let's give it up to Alex.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes, no? Good? Okay, cool. Hey, everybody. Thanks, Grant, for having me. So today, on the Luma, the title was Parameterizing image prompts, but kind of as I was making the slides, I kind of realized there was like lessons about parameterizing prompts that weren't specific to images. Let me quickly share my screen. Oh, did it not share?
Whenever it locks it.
I see, I see. Okay. Good?
Good.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, so the talk I'm going to give today, I'm going to be very quick because I know we have other presenters. I'm going to be talking about parameterizing prompts, and I'm going to kind of go into detail about what that means. So I just wanted to start off with like a pretty famous tweet by Andrej Karpathy, who's one of the co-founders of OpenAI, and also I think AI director at Tesla, built their whole self-driving technology, and he made this like very viral tweet that English is the hottest new programming language, and he's partially right. Like with the advent of like these prompting-based models, like we can use English to sort of express like our desires and have the model basically figure out the rest and produce some sort of artifact, whether it be text or images, to our desires. So the kind of the rough equality here is that prompting is now like basically AI programming. But, and when we develop a prompt, I don't know if many of you have, it's a very iterative process. Usually the first time you try and have one of these models, one of these prompt-based models, try and give you some desired output, you never get it the first try. It's always like an iterative process. And usually the very abstract workflow people go through is you have some problem that a prompt-based model can solve. You iterate on the prompt until you get some solution that like fits your specific use case, and you use it. But there's like two defining like ways you can use it. Sometimes you use a prompt and you use it once, and then you immediately throw it out and you never use it again. But the other case, which is like a little more valuable, is being able to use it many times. So, and the main like technique or the main piece that we use to automate it is using parameterization. I'm going to get into what that means. So, automating prompts, you almost always you want to parameterize it. So what I mean by prompt parameterization is letting software inject data into your prompts. If you're familiar with HTML templating and injecting variables on like a WordPress website, it's very similar except with your prompts, your big blob of text, you're inputting some data that you want the model to infer on, whether it be like a YouTube comment saying like the YouTube comment sentiment. You don't know what the YouTube comment's going to be, but you can have a piece of code, inject it into your prompt before you send it to one of the LLMs to give it back, to give a response back. And the main kind of use case that like that many people have heard of, retrieval augmented generation, RAG, sort of the abstraction of RAG is doing this parameterization. RAG, one key piece is parameterizing a prompt via queries from a knowledge database. Okay, I'm going to show like a few different code examples and just kind of show like incrementally like how from like basic parameterization to getting like slightly more advanced. The first example, our problem statement that I'm going to like show for you is classifying customer support tickets. Just going to make up a fictitious scenario that we need to use LLMs to classify a customer support ticket as like a P0, P1, P2, P3 as like priority of when they get to need, of how fast they need to be resolved. And we're going to use an LLM to solve this. And the normal like way we would normally solve this is you would copy paste everything that's in the support ticket, paste it into ChatGPT, the likes, put a little bit of extra directions like I have here, like describing what a priority level is, saying the title, the author, the body, and then we have ChatGPT give us a response. And I'm not going to go through the response, just want to get the basic idea. The next level is using parameterization, where the main difference between the first picture and the second picture is at the very bottom, title, author, and body, I've replaced with this little ticket.title, ticket.author, and ticket.body. The whole point being is we're going to have some external software inject that information into our prompt. And this is basically like level 1. And most of the time, this can like solve exactly what you need. But almost always, as you solve a problem, suddenly complexity likes to come in through the door and sneak its way in into your problem. So if I'm going to add like an additional like constraint is oftentimes, I'm going to come up with another fictitious scenario. Let's say your customer support ticket framework, there's now suddenly premium users that need to be treated differently, and your prompt needs to do a totally different behavior with the premium user. What you might do is you might do a little bit of like an if statement in there to try and say, okay, if it's a premium user, here's another extra string that you need to put in. Oh, if it's this special user, make sure to use this priority level. And like, oh, I forgot to use that. I forgot to give the model extra direction down below. And by adding this if statement, we've kind of like bifurcated our model to saying like, oh, if a user's premium or not, we now need to keep in our heads like 2 separate prompts effectively. And it can kind of get gnarly. Like I've built applications like pretty poorly with this approach. It works, but pretty poorly with this approach of doing many if statements. You have to sort of contextualize and keep in your head like 7 different behaviors of your prompt, and it's almost always like a really like difficult thing to wrap your head around. And so kind of like the big lesson is like at the beginning when I'm mentioning that like English is the hottest new programming language, it may be the AI programming language, but that doesn't mean it's good. English is not like the best thing to program in, but it's extremely expressive. It's basically it's a complete trade-off. And some personal like patterns for parameterizing prompts. If you use like a Google AI Studio or you have your own parameterizing solution in a custom application, kind of like the 4 big things that I've noticed that I think you should use it because it's helped me, I believe it can help you too, is 1 is avoid branching behavior. Like I had with premium and non-premium, we've created these 2 separate prompts that change the behavior. Kind of going back to an old software engineering principle of single responsibility principle, should have 1 prompt do 1 very explicit thing. Because if you have a bunch of if statements that are branching of behavior, keeping all of that behavior changes in your head and like what flags are on and what's off, what state is my prompt in at this point, you're asking for a whole spaghetti ball mess. The second is making things human readable. To me, having an if statement in there isn't really the most readable thing. I think I think like one thing that's worked for me extremely well is making it as human readable as possible. I should be able to read it like a book and not have to like reason about logic in my head too much. Another thing is separating things into logical blocks. So when you use a parameter, you should try and like keep it local to a certain section of the prompt. Again, for organizational purposes, it's good for the head. And the last thing, which is I think obvious, but I think is always good to reiterate, is keeping it simple, stupid. Just make sure like you have a prompt that does 1 thing and 1 thing extremely well. A bonus thing I want to mention before I hand off the stage is image prompting. So there's a game that I've been working on the side that it's going to be a Guess Who clone for people who've played Guess Who. I'm calling it Who Dis. And I've been using this fun image prompting approach that I wanted to share where the problem statement for those who haven't played Guess Who before. Guess Who is a game where you have an array of people or some sort of items, and each of them like have a bunch of different attributes about them. So maybe people with like long hair versus like short hair or blonde or brunette, and you and your opponent both see the same thing. You each have a secret person that is one of these collection of people, and you have to ask questions back and forth, yes and no, to guess who their hidden character is. And I wanted to be able to like make this game, but using AI generated images because I thought it would be fun. So I was using prompt parameterization in order to generate this collection of people, but varying individually specific attributes about them. So if you can see in the prompt, like over here, like when I say appearance, appearance is going to be its own special category. It's going to be an enumerable, saying like scary, cute, tiny, something like this. And the idea is I can just randomly choose a bunch of different attributes, compile an image prompt for the model, and then have an image representation of a data structure. And if you sample about like 30 of these, you can get a bunch of monsters together, and then you can make a game. You can make a Guess Who game out of this. And it doesn't stop at monsters. You can make a separate collection for people, realistic people, and get something like this. And you can even do it like anime characters or whatever you want. And it all kind of boils down to this approach of like taking a data structure and then finding a way to compile to a string via this parameterization. And I think this is a really cool approach that you should all consider if you're ever interested in making a Guess Who game. And if you want to see a demo of this like after and make your own category or something, you can talk to me after. Maybe we can make our own. That was pretty much it. Yeah, I'm on the internet. That's all my links. And yeah, thank you all for listening. Who's next?
Thank you, Alex. Oh my gosh, that was so good, so good. As always, thank you very much. That was parameterization of image models. Amazing, by Alex Comerford. Next, we'll be having Tad Duval. Tad, amazing, come on up. He's also someone that's been at GPTuesdays since day one. Since day one. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Yeah, Tad will be talking about hierarchical agents and how to use them. So he's been using them in his own applications, learning more about agents, using them in his software, Caligo and others. And now we'll be working to show us as well on how that works. So looking forward to that in just a moment. We'll be right back. We're collecting emails for the demo. Yes, just 4 more emails, 4 more emails. Does anyone have any questions for Alex? Didn't see any questions in the... Just 1 more minute? Awesome. I'm very excited for this demo because we're getting quite a few user feedbacks and a few people that are going to be participants in this next demo. So be ready. Do we have enough time?
That's good. That's good. Yours? Yeah.
Yeah, so who here is this their first GPTuesdays? Got a few people. Wow, very nice, very cool, nice. Happy you found us, and feel free to get to know all of us. We're a really warm and open community, so really excited to talk with all of you. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and just plug that in. Let's go ahead and put this right here. Here. Excellent. I think he's already on. All right, looks like we're ready. So Tad,
Yep.
after you.
I appreciate it. Yay! All right, let's go. All right.
I need the icebreaker.
We find ourselves here today on October 22nd, 2024, speaking about hierarchical agents. So first of all, thank you GPTuesdays, thank you MDC, thank you Office Logic, thank you my mom, and thank you my dad. Okay, cool. So has anybody here heard of Crew.AI? Yeah? By a show of hands? So they have actually spoken here, in partnership with this event and Grant and Patab. So they just announced today that they closed that $18 million funding round. So has anybody worked with multi-agent systems? Yeah? What are some of the frameworks that you use? Do you use Crew.AI? or use Crew AI? Swarms. Use Crew? LangGraph? Great. Cool. So, Llama Index. All right, great. Yeah, so you can make your own applications like ChatGPT, and you can combine different of these ChatGPT-like systems to create what's called multi-agent systems. This is kind of breaking this down for people who haven't heard of this or experimented with this. So I'm going to show at the end a live demo. That's why I collected emails. So you should get an email notification with the output of what we'll do together here. At the end of this, I should probably speed this up a little bit. So yeah, so I thought it would be appropriate to use Crew AI for this demo because they made this announcement today. So I'm guessing this will be a framework that maybe you'll use in the future. And they offer at the current moment 2 modes that you can run crews in. So they have a marketed or branded way that they think of this, or they call this. They call groups of agents in their framework, they call them crews. So it's like your crew of digital assistants, right? So you can have one guy who writes your LinkedIn messages for you, one guy who posts on Twitter for you, one guy who writes your emails for you. So you have your digital crew, right? And then in other frameworks, they go by different names. Like Swarms framework, we'll call them swarms. I guess, what's another way? Yeah, Swarms is a pretty popular way that they're referred to as well, but Crew definitely has an awesome way that they brand it. So Crew AI offers 2 modes that you can run these teams in. So sequential is the default way that you can run your tasks with these crews or with these swarms or with these teams. And the way sequential mode works is quite simple. You outline a list of things you want to do, and you assign each task to each member of your digital team. So for example, in this example that I have here, let's say you want to write some team that's going to post on LinkedIn for you, so you don't have to do it anymore. To market your business, right? You'll have one team member that will go to LinkedIn and do research. Then you'll have another one that will look at all that research and then write some concept for a draft post. Then you'll maybe have another one that will generate an image that you can post along with your post, right? And then after that, you can then post it to LinkedIn, right? So this is like a team of like 4 digital assistants, and then they have a sequential workflow, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And here's what this looks like. I mean, this is probably, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could open up the links to see what, so you can see what it looks like. This is how you configure it in Crew AI. So Crew AI has a configuration syntax called YAML. Has anybody heard of this? YAML? YAML? Yeah? So maybe I'll come over here. So this is how you program the crews in Crew AI. It's pretty simple. So you have a config folder in your crew project, and the config folder has 2 files. It has a agents.yaml file. This is where you outline your team. And then the way that the Crew AI frameworks, like I said, this probably seems pointless, but they just raised $20 million. This probably is going to be something that you'll probably come across, if you're interested in this space, right? So the way that you outline each team member is using, as Alex was saying, the new programming language, which is English, right? So for each member of your team, you define its role, you define its goal of what it is aiming to do within the scope of the team, and then you can also give it a backstory. So for this team, I've created a team of founding fathers, right? So I've created George Washington and then Thomas Jefferson. And then the way that you give tasks to this team or this crew is you go to the other config file. So there's the agents.yaml file and the tasks.yaml file. And then in the tasks.yaml file, you list each thing that you want the crew to do, and then you assign each task to a particular agent, right? So here I'm saying write the Declaration of Independence, right? I'm assigning that to Thomas Jefferson. After the Declaration of Independence has been written, we then give a task to George Washington where he will generate a military strategy, right? So this is kind of simulating whatever the American independence. So, or America's independence. So here we go. Who can explain how hierarchical mode works? Go for it.
Similar to a corporation, you have a chain of command.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay. So the way that hierarchical mode works is similar to a corporation. You have a chain of command. So you have your CEO, and then you have someone who reports to the CEO, and then someone who reports to them. So it's like a top-down approach.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the way hierarchical mode works in Crew.AI is you are still going to outline everything in those same two files. You have that agents.yaml file and then those tasks, right? So in your agents, you define one agent that's going to be the manager agent. And then the other agents are the workers. And then what you do is you give tasks to the manager agent, and then the manager agent will, based on the probabilities of how LLMs work, will assign subtasks that will eventually achieve that task to the workers. Does that make sense? So you have a manager agent, and then you have his workers. And then you give tasks, or you interact with the manager agent, and then the manager agent is going to appropriately delegate tasks, right? You don't have to decide. You know, in the sequential mode, how we were outlining each task one by one, and we had to map it to each agent. We don't have to do that anymore with hierarchical mode. You just talk to the manager, and then the manager will, talk to all the workers on your behalf. So here, so here's a demo of what this looks like, right? So has anybody heard of this tool, AgentOps? This is like super in the weeds. But this is a tool that shows you under the hood what's happening when you interact with a multi-agent system. So if you were interacting with ChatGPT, when you send one message to ChatGPT, there's lots of stuff that's going under the hood, right? So if you were going to talk to ChatGPT, under the hood, there's probably 10, 20, it depends on what you're asking it. Sometimes 30, 40 calls, right? Steps that are eventually happening between when you ask something and when you see your final output of what gets spit out on ChatGPT. So we were talking first about the sequential mode. So here you can see this is called waterfall. Yep. So, yeah, this tool is, we'll come over here. This tool is a little bit janky. This is a startup. I'm potentially, hopefully I'll start working with them soon. But anyways, they have a lot of bugs. But this is another crew. And this one is not the founding fathers of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. This is a songwriter and then a producer, right? So here you can see the breakdown of what happened, right? So in this scenario, we're sending a song to our songwriting duo. First, the songwriter is going to write lyrics, right? You can see all the stuff that happened, all the prompts that got sent to that first agent. And after the songwriter wrote lyrics, we then had a producer, an award-winning producer, right? And we give it a backstory that it's like an amazing producer, blah, 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 blah. It then translated those lyrics into a final song, right? So this is what a hierarchical waterfall looks like. Okay, hold on. Let me kick this off again. And this is not my fault, because this is what happens when you use software that is literally hours old. So here we go, Yeah, so this is running. It took 54 seconds before, so hopefully it doesn't take longer than that. And let me come back to the slides. So this is a system that I have running in production. And what I'm doing is giving weekly news reports to C-suite executives. These are my friends, right? They work at companies, startups that are doing pretty well. They'd like some overview of what's going on in certain domains in the world. For example, in this example that I'm going to show you, the CEO of one company that I've been speaking with would like to know what's going on with a country called Haiti. That's his home country. He found himself waking up certain days of the week, and he'll go to about 10 different websites, browse the home pages of these websites, and that gives him a gist of what's going on. So I wrote a crew that will go to each of these 10 websites and read the home page, and it gives an email notification. It looks like this. Of the 5 most, I guess, topical things related to Haiti that are happening across all of these news outlets. So I'm going to CNN, I'm going to BBC, I'm going to the Haitian Times, which is like the New York Times, but the Haitian Times, blah, 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 right? There's another website called Loop News Haiti, Aibo Post, and then I also have the links where you can go and click over. Oh, hilarious. Let me click on this one. Yeah, that one worked. So you can click over, and as you can see, this stuff is definitely very janky, but long story short, this is a production system of how I'm using hierarchical news agents. So what I do is I give the task to a manager agent, and then I have an agent for each website, each of the 7 websites that he's interested in getting news from. And then I tell the manager agent, go and perform research and look across all of these sites and find the most pressing news related to Haiti, synthesize it, and then I trigger an email back to the CEO, right? So now let me finally use these emails that I collected, and we'll run this. That should work. So you should get a news report generated by this agent, and then you guys will be able to inspect it on your phones. Do this real time. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe some of you have heard, this is the latest evolution of Caligo. So here we go. And here you can see I've highlighted this. This gold is the manager agent, and then here's are all of his workers, right? Each worker is specialized in speaking to a different site. And if we run this, okay, here we go. So, all right, here we go. So yeah, debugging this stuff is crazy, and you can see how much these crews fail too. So they will like, sometimes they'll go like, it won't be straightforward. It won't be like the manager agent goes bang 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 to all these 7. He's like, he'll try to talk to the first agent like 7 times, and then it'll work. And then he'll talk to the second worker like 3 times, and then it'll work. And then for some reason he might go back to the first agent, and then he'll hop over to the 7th one, and then anyways, it's like, shows you how like this stuff really works. So here we go.
Does it let you pick a model?
Crew AI? Crew AI, yeah. They let you, by default it uses OpenAI. Yep, yeah. So this is not me anymore. This is we're just waiting for the crew to finish at this point. I did my job. I was fast, I probably seem like, all over the place, but like, I don't know, I'm on it. So the crew is at work, So yeah, the crew's chugging along. So you kind of get a gist of what he's doing. He's going to each website. He's extracting all the text from it, right? Whatever, the blah, 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 right? And then, yeah, you see sometimes I gave it the exact website, but for some reason he went to like this a wrong website, right? Or he or she, whatever, I just call it a reporter. So it could be, whatever gender you want. I tested this before, so it worked before. If it doesn't work this time, this is this technology. It's not me. It's not me. No, it's not more. No, I mean, I tested it before. It worked. If it doesn't work this time, I mean, unless it's like a problem with, yeah. Let's see what the final outcome is. So for some reason, he's going to like multiple websites on this website. He's going to multiple pages on this website. The final answer, I mean, this guy, he's stuck here. I mean, you know what? Just out of courtesy of time, I'm going to get off stage. But I'm going to run this crew again, and you guys will get your AI generated news about the latest going ons of Haiti. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can see here, he's going to just random pages that don't make any sense on this web. So I gave him 7 websites. I said, go to 7 websites. He's like, the crew is fixated on this one, and it's just going to like random pages on this website.
It shows violence.
And then here, you see, it shows violence, right? Yeah. It shows violence. I encountered an error while using, so, but it's still going. And then, long story short, is now you can see like how these things, how reliable they really are, right?
So now you can tag a rogue agent.
Rogue agent, exactly. It's non-deterministic. You're right. So this is actually good. You can actually now see under the hood like how good these things really are, like how reliable they are, right? So let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice. Amazing, amazing. I think we all learned a little bit more about hierarchical agents and how they work. It's really cool about Crew AI's big news about raising 20 million. Congratulations to Crew AI. Just fantastic stuff. Big shout out to Duval. We actually hosted him a few months ago. So Duval actually spoke at GPTuesdays a few months ago on agents. So incredible.
There's a message at the bottom that says, please deposit 5 million.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, there we go. That's right. For GPTuesdays. Well, now we're going to go ahead and bring up Jon-Fredrik. He is he's an incredible person. Just came over to GPTuesdays, and he's the founder of Altec AI, helping to integrate chat systems into hotels around the world. So, come on up to the stage, and let's give a round of applause.
Finally, so he tried, I gave him the website to go to. He tried 3 wrong pages on that website, and finally, anyway, it's still going.
Here we go. Cool.
Still going, the crew's still going. The crew is still going.
They'll be working all night. All right. It's real cool to be here. It's my first GP Tuesday. I'm originally from Norway, but I've lived in LA for a few years, and the past couple of years I've been spending some time in Miami as well. So it's cool to be here. I just came in a couple days ago. But yeah, my name is Jon-Fredrik, or you can call me Jofen, and I'm a co-founder of Altec AI. And we are trying to redefine hospitality with AI assistants. So running a hotel is hard. 76% of hotels are facing staff shortages, with 13% of them being severely understaffed. And hotels are just flooded with emails and phone calls from guests, while juggling like doing repetitive tasks across 10 to 15 systems that do not communicate with each other. It's basically an operational nightmare. We therefore thought there's got to be some kind of way of using generative AI to automate these different processes and make everything easier for both the staff and giving guests faster answers to their questions. And we then did a pilot project with a luxury hotel in Norway. It's a spa resort called Farrisbad, where we created an AI assistant for staff and an AI chatbot or a concierge for guests. And these work by connecting to the different systems that the hotel uses. They have like one software for the restaurant, one for the spa, one system called the PMS, which is property management system, which is where they handle all the reservations, etc. They have a booking engine, etc. So as long as these systems have open APIs that we can connect to, we can then connect our AI assistants to them through function calling. So just like how it's all set up, the user types in a message, then the AI model decides whether to just reply, either retrieve information from a knowledge base, or perform a task in one of the different systems of the hotel that we have programmed in. So the AI concierge for guests, we implemented it on Farrisbad's website in May. And in July, we got some statistics from it. So in the month of July, the chatbot handled 31% of all the inquiries to the hotel. So we added the phone calls and all the emails and the messages through the chatbot. And the chatbot stood for 31% of those. And the hotels, their customer service team got a big decrease in questions like, can I bring my own swimmer to the spa? Can I bring my dog? What time is check-in, etc. So they were really happy, and it gave them time to then give more attention to the guests at the hotel to provide better service. But in the beginning, they were hesitant because they thought, oh, AI is now coming to replace our staff. But instead, we're making it more enjoyable for the hotel staff to actually work at the hotel and give better service for guests at the hotel. While guests can also ask the chatbot and get answers to questions in a matter of seconds instead of waiting on the phone or waiting for an email or going down to the reception. So I'm just going to show you quickly the chatbot. Here it is on the Farrisbad website. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to show a different chatbot. This one I just found a few days ago. It's on the Blue Lagoon on Iceland, on their website. Just to kind of show you what hotels are used to when it comes to chatbots. I asked, can I bring my dog? And it replied, we do have 3 restaurants and a cafe. Not exactly what I asked for. Then I asked, is breakfast included? And it said, apologies, but I'm having trouble grasping your question. So, yeah, that's the competition. So going to the chatbot we created using generative AI and RAG, I'll ask a question. Can I bring my dog? And it replies usually within 5 seconds. Yeah, there we go. And I can, for example, say, I'd like to bring my girlfriend to the hotel. What do you recommend? I'd like to bring my GF to the hotel. What do you recommend? And then it's smart enough to understand it should recommend the Lovebirds package. So this is not something we have programmed in. We have just fed the knowledge base with information from the website, in addition to custom documents, and spent a lot of time like fine-tuning, not fine-tuning the AI model, but like doing prompt engineering and figuring out the best search algorithms to draw the information from the knowledge base, etc., to get it to the point where the hotel is happy, because it can't just be like 80% correct, because then a guest will assume that's the correct information, but if it's wrong, they're going to complain to the hotel. So it's very important that the information is as close to 100% correct as possible, which has been one of the biggest challenges. A few other things we have challenges was like updating the information in the chatbot, because a hotel updates information on their website quite frequently, like they change the opening hours of the restaurant or other type of information. So it's annoying then to have to go in and like put that information into the chatbot, etc. So we made like a workflow that retrains basically the chatbot once every day, so the hotel doesn't have to do anything, so the chatbot is always up to date. Yeah, I think we have to move on. For the AI assistant for staff, this one actually connected to the PMS of the hotel. And we, after talking to the hotel to identify different tasks that was taking a lot of time, we concluded with charging items taken from the minibar was one of those tasks. So the old way, the housekeeping go from room to room, they check the minibar and write down on a piece of paper, like on a list, what has been taken from the minibar. Then they give that list to the receptionist. The receptionist have to put into the PMS system, like on the room, open a new bill, etc. But if the guest has checked out but not paid for it, they still have to open a new bill, then go to another software to generate a payment link, and then go to email to send out the payment link to the previous guest through email. And just doing this manually took 7 minutes for the hotel, but through using our AI assistant and function calling, we could just say room 210 has taken 2 Cokes and 1 Pepsi from the minibar, and it just did this automatically in 17 seconds. So that led to a time reduction of 2,371%. So what we're gonna keep working on now the next few months is identifying more of these kind of tasks that can save the hotel staff a lot of time. All right, and then for the guest chatbot, we are also working on integrating it to the booking engine and the PMS system, etc. So guests can actually check available rooms, they can make reservations, retrieve their invoices, etc. This is running locally, and I hadn't looked at this project until earlier today, and it wasn't quite working, but we're gonna give it a shot. So I'm gonna ask for available rooms between December 4th and December 6th. And this is connected to a PMS provider called Apaleo. It's used by around 1,500 hotels, and they have an open API. So let's see yeah, there we go. So here I get the prices and the different details about the rooms. I tried making the reservation earlier, but something didn't work, so I'm not gonna try that. But I'm gonna try to retrieve an invoice. So then, yeah, I'm just gonna say, I want my invoice. So now it's gonna connect to the API. Yeah, and I need to give the reservation number and my email. So I'll do that. So now it's connecting to Apaleo's API to retrieve my invoice, because this is a guest that has stayed at the hotel. It's looking like something Fetching invoice PDF saved successfully, but it should send me the email. It worked earlier. It's really slow right now for some reason, but it worked earlier, and here is the email with the invoice. Yeah. OpenAI API is down or something. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Our vision is to have the AI assistants be able to connect to pretty much all the systems in the hotel, letting staff and guests perform as many tasks as possible to free up time for the staff and make the guest experience better. Thank you.
So that crew finished running. First of all, great presentation.
Thanks.
Amazing. Like, I love it.
Thanks.
Great job, great job.
Thank you. You too.
And yeah, just wanted to make sure I follow up on that. It did finish running, so I gave it 7 websites, right? I gave the crew 7 websites. For some reason, it tried to go to the second of the 7 websites. It was hitting the wrong URL, like 30 times. And then eventually, when the crew finished it, and then everybody was like, I got you got it right? Everybody can raise their thumbs? Everybody can raise their hand?
Raise your hand.
I'm
Yeah,
lying.
cool, nice.
I'm joking. But here we go.
Love it. Awesome.
Great. Amazing, everyone. And we actually did get a few questions. Let me go ahead and reopen that. If anyone would like to, I'll go ahead and read those questions. And if Tad would like to come up. So Tad, if you want to come up, ask you a few questions. For one, how do you declare functions? Does a manager handle dispatching functions to workers? This is from Gianni. How do you declare functions, and does the manager handle dispatching functions to workers?
That's you, okay.
I'll go ahead and
Read
ask
the
that.
question. That's like a lot.
Yes.
How do you declare functions? Does the manager handle dispatching functions? You want me to show you the code, or how do you want me to explain it?
Well, let's do it through voice. Yeah.
Right, I just feel like going on that way too long. So when you do each agent, right? You define each agent. It's in another file, but you also, for each agent, you can give it tools or functions. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. That's not in YAML, unfortunately. Yeah. So I kind of like simplified it for the presentation. Like, it's just 2 config files. You define I guess you could say like you define the role, goal. You define like I guess you could say the general characteristics of the agent in the YAML files. But you give, the way you define each tool that each agent has access to in a separate file. And I should say also, Crew.ai comes out of the box with 30 tools. And a lot of them are like about web scraping. I imagine the CEO of Crew.ai in his past life, he did a lot of web scraping. Because it's like, right? It's like 10 of the 30 tools are just all like web scraping tools. But and you can make your own tools with it as well. So if you know LangChain, LangGraph, I'd say for me, like I've studied LangChain, LangGraph, I've studied Crew.ai, I've studied Swarms. I'm studying another one right now. You'll be able to pick each one of them up, So yeah, go for it.
And one more
Another question for me? Or not?
Yeah, we have 2 more questions. What are the best use cases for when you should use sequential versus hierarchical? This is from Gianni.
From who? From Gianni?
Yeah.
You had a question though, right?
We'll answer one at a time. So yeah, just what are the best use cases for when you should use sequential versus hierarchical?
Gianni? What is this one?
Those from Duval.
Janelle, there you go. Great. So yeah, so it's definitely on use case, right? So anything sequential, you would go for sequential, right? If it's like a very sequential. Linear. Thank you. I'm so stupid. It's crazy. I think I'm smart. I'm sorry. Sorry to do like, but excuse me, like that's a weird word. But linear, right? So if there's something that you want to try to automate with this technology, and it's by nature, it's a very linear order of steps. You can, and also, if it's a very strictly linear sequence of steps, you probably would want to go with sequential. Yeah, I mean, you could theoretically give a manager agent a sequence of steps, right? And then you can say these are all the workers that you have at your disposal. But as we saw, the reliability is like, sometimes it can get a little bit wonky, you know, and then sometimes it might hop around. The way these systems work is like, it's very probabilistic how they work. Might hop around, might not do exactly what you're intending to do. But yeah, I would say it's driven by use case. I mean, that's another reason why I was inspired to show this today, because I didn't think of this. It's like, I made that fault before with programming. I definitely try to stay away with it. But like, this is a cool thing. This is a cool idea. Maybe you guys can use this one day. Like, no, like someone came to me with this problem where he wants to automate himself going to all these websites.
Narrating it to everybody, letting everybody weigh in, opposed to like, to your point, with something straightforward where it's like, build the gear for the car, then the body, then all that. It'll be, yeah. I'm loud anyways, so I'm probably good, but yeah, no doubt be linear. So to your point, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Alex and Jotham. How many customers do you have with Altec right now?
Now we have 9. So
9, wow.
we had 1 in May, 2 in June,
Mhm.
and then between beginning of September and now we got 7 more.
Are you hiring or not yet?
Not at the moment, but it looks like it's gonna have to happen soon.
Call me when you're hiring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're currently with 2 people, me and the other co-founder.
So I'm going to read my own question. My question is, do you need to be techie to use Crew.AI? Or can anyone go and start their own crew? And then my follow-up question to that is, what is the cost to it?
Great. The unfortunate reality as of now is you probably will have to be techie to use Crew. It's quite janky. I don't know how else the better word to use for it. But yeah, ChatGPT, you could probably get a long way with ChatGPT. I would say, have you used ChatGPT before? Okay, great. Okay, great.
Yes.
All right, great. Yeah. And I'll take your contact after this. If I think of some other applications, I'll definitely forward your way. And then the second question was how the cost, right? So I think that like generating that article or like that report, 3 cents or less, right? So how much would it cost to hire 7 reporters? I mean, they're obviously doing a little bit more than what I'm doing. I'm simulating it, but to go read, or even one person, how much would it cost to hire one person, or even your own time? Would it take for you to go to 7 websites and kind of synthesize everything that's on the homepage into the 5 most important things? That's probably what, you know. So yeah, anyways, stop the rambling, try to sell it to you. But it was less than 3 cents.
I can. So there's another framework called Agency Swarm. It's actually made by a guy from Georgia, the country, and he has a tool called, I think it's Genesis, where you can, in a single prompt, create your entire swarm. It'll create all the agents that go into the swarm. It follows hierarchy structure. And as far as the cost, it depends on how many calls to the API, to OpenAI you use. For that particular one that I mentioned, they're very keen on using OpenAI, but he opened up to using open source like Llama 3. If you use models like Llama 3, it'll be less costly, but I gave a presentation on Agency Swarm here at GPTuesdays like a while back, and my demo cost me $10. just using like Claude 3, just in the demo in 30 minutes. It makes so many calls. So it depends on how you design your swarm. If you use like models that are inexpensive, it won't cost that much, but it could cost a lot of money, and it's probably cheaper to hire a human at this point. But in the future, I'm serious. In the future, it might be more cost effective to build a crew or build a swarm to do some work. And at Crew.AI, his sales and marketing departments are completely made by Crew.AI. He has no humans working those departments. So it's working for him, and he's successful. He spoke here, and I think he raised already like $70 million when he spoke, and now he raised another $20 million. So check out Crew.AI, and good presentation. Oh, you want the mic back?
No, go for it.
Okay, that's it for me.
Well, everyone, thank you so much. Thank you. If someone could point the live stream at me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But yeah, so amazing time, everybody. We brought together 3 of our community members so that we can share a little bit about what we've learned over this time and what we're interested in, chat systems, image prompt templates, etc. From Alex Comerford, we learned how to parameterize image prompts so that you could reuse them and put in variables in different ways so that you can also check out his new game. What was it called one more time? Who Dis. Great game. Yes, he's very humble. He has a lot of applications, and one of them I think has a ton of users, over a few thousand a day. So he's doing really great. He's a really great engineer. We learned from Pad about hierarchical agents and how they work, the difference between hierarchical and linear agents, sequential agents. And we also learned from John about the new hotel chat system that's being integrated around the world in many different with many different clients, and how it's better than quite a few other ones. And it is actually very, very cool. I love to see how people are using AI and LLMs in systems today. It's the best one I've seen for hotel integration. So very, very amazing. I really love what our community here is doing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do some final housekeeping and just let's get to know each other. I would like to just ask everyone to please scan the QR code on the tables. That allows you to join our community. With just our Telegram, yeah, if you want to just follow the Telegram or the Luma calendar, that'd be great. There's a lot on there. You can follow the Instagram, all that. We have like probably around 10, but just the Telegram is great. So thank you so much. Each number that we get really helps out a lot. So thank you very much. We have multiple workshops coming, from RAG systems to computer vision. Tad's going to be doing a workshop on retrieval augmented generation with Pinecone, so stay tuned for that one. We'll also be having, yeah, give it up. We'll also be doing more workshops from Alexei Romanov. Alexei he's a very brilliant engineer, very, very great. He's a senior data scientist and machine learning engineer over at Grid Dynamics, and works with some very big clients on the machine learning side. If you want to learn more about computer vision, how to do classification, detection, as well as image generation as well for the full package, stay tuned. We'll be having that workshop on November 16th. November 16th. And then we have a surprise event on the week after. So stay tuned for that one. We'll make that one a surprise. And a few others. Should I? Yeah, so Brian Stewart will also be doing a workshop very soon too on low-code, no-code automation. Is that right? Using things like Zapier and Make.com? Yeah, so if you're a business owner or anything like that, and you want to learn how to do low-code, no-code integration so that you can do stuff like this without knowing how to code, this is your workshop to go to. That's going to be sometime late November or early December. So yeah, without further ado, everybody, thanks for coming, and looking forward to our next conversation.
That was a good one.
That was energetic.
Yeah.
Let me end the stream and end it. Okay, cool. So it's going to be on